Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, welcome in to Therapy with the PAC. That's Philippine American couple. To you guys, we won't get too excited about things until more people join us tonight. So just kind of hang loose. If you have some questions or you want to leave a comment about anything we do on our channel, please feel free to do that. And of course, remember to like, subscribe, and share, and all of that good stuff. All right. It's been a busy day for us, a busy last few days. It's a beautiful day out today. We did have a little bit of overcast this morning, but right now it's absolutely just beautiful, about 73 degrees. Really thirsty tonight for some reason. I should have brought me some Gatorade to drink. Really thirsty tonight, but I don't know why. But that's all right. Thank you all for being here. Remember, the thumbs ups are always helpful. Well, we're sitting here waiting. What? I think we saw this over here. Got a bunch of unread messages that I didn't know about. All right, well, I guess that's okay. Let me check the news and the events. Hola to you, myself, my friend. How are you? Yamala? I hope I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. Yamila? You know, it's a cool name. It's a very cool name. I would agree with that. Uh, You know, in America, depending on which part of the United States you're from, the southern, the north, we would pronounce it many different ways. So, but hello to you. How are you doing? How are things in your personal world and your big world? Do you have a YouTube channel yourself? Or on Wednesday nights tonight is what we do on this channel is we call it Therapy with PAC. I'm PAC, by the way. I'm actually David is my name, and I am the leader of the PAC, Philippine American couple. We usually have a lot of open discussions. Kind of turns into a therapy session for a lot of us, and so there's questions about any topic except for what we don't do. For all of you guys watching and listening, is we don't talk about children in a bad way, and we don't call people racial slurs. We welcome in everybody from every country, every walk of life, every religion. On our channel here, this channel, unlike many, many, many other channels, we're happy to have you here and we're happy to talk about the tough issues if they arise. A lot of people don't want to talk about politics or religion. We'll do that on this channel. You may not like everything you hear, but as long as you're respectful to everybody else, on Therapy with PAC, it's what we do. We have a open dialogue. We believe in it. Like I said a minute ago, I think I'm thirsty, but I got some tea, so I'm gonna do all right. And if you have a YouTube channel you want to talk about, you're welcome to do that. If there's anything else you would like to talk about, we're happy to have you. Yamila, great name, beautiful photo. Thank you for being here. I know a lot of our male subscribers that will be on later would appreciate your photo very much. Where was I at? So don't be shy there in the background. I know we got a bunch of people watching in the background. Big John is in the house. Like I just said, we got a lot of people in the background. Big John is now in the foreground. What are you up to today besides waiting on the phone call? It's kind of weird how that the screen is doing that. Where am I? Thank you for saying hello, John. Man, we've been busy this week, John. We really have. Not well, some physical busy, but mainly busy, busy, busy. Tim is in the house. Good evening to you, Tim. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. How are things in the land of the PH? Big John, how are things in the land of the MO? The show me state, the MO. A hot one yesterday. Mm. Yeah, I hate to not feel bad for you. I mean, we've had beautiful weather. I'm talking about this is mid 70s, sunny, just great weather. So, but I know the hot ones are coming to America. They won't be that long before they're here. So I got to get some work done around the house before the hot ones get here. Sorry, guys. All right, let's see if I can talk through this. The doctor says, one, I had damaged my vocal cords from all the years that I did public speaking, and I'm sure this public speaking is not helping any. But what are you going to do? So they talked about the fact that I damaged my vocal cords, and of course, if you one thing I've learned over the years, if you get a lot of stomach acid, you can have problems too. So 117, holy shit, that is hot. At 11 a.m. What did you do? Did you fly to Phoenix, Arizona? That's pretty hot, man. Wow. I appreciate the thumbs up. I hope you're in the air conditioning today. Is your what's your forecast for today, Tim? Yeah, we're supposed to have pretty nice weather. There are threats of tornadoes, a lot of rain in parts of America still, but for the most part, it's good here, man. Well, I can imagine at 117 in a brick facility or hollow blocks, I could see it. I could see it being a problem. I can see it for sure. Mark's in the house. Well, the latest update is, and here's what I want to say. Mark, thank you one for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up and everybody, from everybody. Going to be 114 where Tim is in the Philippines today. Woo-hoo. So where we're at on this insurance claim, I'm telling you, we got other drama that we dealt with this week that made us very fearful that we were going to lose thousands and thousands of dollars. But insurance wise, after we're in week number 6, they're still trying to build the bathroom cabinet. It's supposed to be here next midweek. Everything's supposed to be wrapped up by the end of the week. Next week, on week 7, for a 10-day job. But what I want to say is my insurance company, Allstate, has been great. It's the company that they recommended, Paul Davis, which is a franchise, that has dropped the ball repeatedly. So we're still down to one bathroom. Luckily, we do have a bathroom. And I had man, one of my fears is when they come in, and I've warned and talked about this, that we do have a really thick granite countertop in the bathroom, as you guys have seen. I had a bad dream the other day that they were working in the bathroom and they broke the countertop, which which will, if that happens, put us shit, I don't know, a month behind, like 4 months or 2 months. So right now we're almost at the 2-month mark. If they break the countertop, which I've warned not to do, we're going to be back another month. But it was really weird that I had some weird dream that they came in and monkeyed around and weren't cautious in handling it and snapped it because it is an 8-foot long piece of granite. So, Mark, how are you doing? What's going on in your part of the world? And remember, we have open dialogue. So anybody wants to bring any topic up, you're welcome to. We're trying something new, a little bit of therapy for all of us here on the show. I was going to try to go to the park today and take Lily for a walk. Well, I was going to drag her around in the stroller as I drove my little motor scooter, my new mobility scooter that we bought. But we got busy with another crisis over the weekend, and at the end of the weekend, and for the first few days of the week, we had another gigantic paranoid. I thought I had some cough drops up here, but I guess I don't. We had another crisis that we had to deal with. No golf drops, but I did find one of my favorite little knives. This is something somebody gave me a long time ago. It's so small I keep losing it, but it's a little bitty knife and has something else in it. No, no, just a knife. It has a bottle opener, like this. Comes in this little pouch you can put on your belt. But I keep losing it because I keep forgetting where I put it. So you guys remember it, it's in my coffee cup up here. It's trash. Okay. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these. Oh, here's one of my here. Here's another little knife somebody gave me a long time ago when I was still teaching. You know, these are little knives giveaways from companies. So this one actually has a little flashlight built in. It's a little hard case. Goes onto your belt. It also, I think you just squeeze, pull it off. Has a bottle opener, scissors, and a little blade. Man, I'm making a mess. There you go. Yeah, we're gonna put it in the, yeah, we get, thinking of that, Tim. Yeah, and they'll definitely take it from you. So does anybody know what this is? This is a really cool device that I think everybody should have one or two of these. You definitely should have one in your car. So what this device does, and they're not expensive, is let me see, find something. Maybe this will work. This has a cutter in it that you can use to cut the seat belt with. Okay. So it's used like this to cut your seat belt. Is what it's used for. It also had a flashlight. Battery's probably dead. This is probably, I've been retired for a number, I mean, you know, it's probably 20 years old. And this side here, yep, seatbelt cutter, is the punch. So it's a little punch for glass. So if you're in your car, you can punch your window out with this. A little seatbelt cutter and window punch. Mine's really old. Like I said, I probably have had it, God, 15, 20 years, but all of that. You know, I got it probably back when I was, I know way back when I was doing my thing. So way back then. Mark says, you've had that your hat for a long time. How long? This hat, I have. I've had this hat personally for about 8 years. This one I've had for 8 years. I've got a bunch of them that are about 10 to 8 years old. Most of the hats I have, you guys don't see. I literally have probably 100 hats. But a lot of them are dress hats, winter hats. I don't wear them much because I don't have a need. They're more dress hats. But this one, my other one I got from Aruba or somewhere, my pink one are all pretty old. And then I got a few new ones, of course. Not many people would know how to use it or when to use it. I agree, Tim. And one thing we did as safety professionals, because I got them back when I was teaching safety for, you know, like OSHA stuff. And we'd have conferences, and I literally had companies donate these. And we would put them in goodie bags to give away. And sometimes they would put their name on them. we'd give them these away, and we would have somebody showing how to use them in the before the audience. But we gave away a lot of stuff like this, besides snacks and ink pens and paper and rubber squeezy balls to get rid of your stress. We did that a lot. But so yeah, the my hat collection needs to grow. I'm looking for more stingy rims like this. I'm really liking this style. I do have a lot of the traditional fedoras, the small brim, and I bought a couple more this year. One hat I bought a while back came in wrinkled and smushed and gushed and just, so I'm actually going to try to reshape it myself. But yeah, got to keep up with the hats. And think, that's where we were kind of going with this a little bit. Is yeah, we booked our tickets to Miami today. And so thinking of the airport and TSA, we had to go through and make sure that we got the scooter situation switched, squared away, which I do have the appropriate flying scooter with the small lithium ion battery that can come out. I guess there are some new rules about the size of your carry-ons. And Lorelai's flying to Chicago in a couple of weeks, so this weekend we're going to go look to see about the new size carry-on luggage for domestic flights. So she has it saved. But now we need to go find her a new carry-on for domestic flights. And we'll need them too for our trip to Miami in October. So we've been working on that. Pat, good to see you, brother. How are you? Everybody said hello to each other, by the way. Mark's here. Pat's here. Tim's here. So we did get the tickets bought. They were very expensive. I can't imagine. I mean, I think they're expensive, but then again, I'm poor. So, even when you're poor, even $100 is a amount of money, right? Pat saying hello to everybody. Everybody saying hello to Patrick. So we did get our airline tickets for Miami booked. So we still got the problem with the carry-ons. Um, uh, you know, we are going to, if anybody wants to meet up with us in Miami, if anybody out there is going to be in Miami when we're there, we're going to be there one day. So Lucy's in the house. Everybody say hello to Lucy. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. How are you doing today? Is there any topics you would like to discuss? This is an open format so that we can all counsel each other, is what we're doing, Lucy. So, and that goes for Pat and Tim and Mark and everybody else in here. Anybody in the background, you guys are welcome to bring up anything. But yes, so we're going to fly to Miami. We're going to go the day early versus flying in the day of the trip, the cruise. We've done that before and we had really good luck, but it's also kind of risky because you may get delayed and screw up your cruise. So we are flying in. Yes, Yamela is in the house also. Very nice looking support channel. We'll be in Miami. We're going to get there about 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll be there all day, and then we'll get up in the morning and go ahead and after we have a snack at the Continental Breakfast, we will go ahead and take an Uber over to the cruise port, which is only 3-4 miles away, not very far, to the ship, and get on the ship and go sailing, sailing away. We are staying downtown by the river, I guess, which is real close to the port of Miami. And we're going to try to do some video. Maybe we'll pop up and do a live stream because we are going to be, where the river is and all the fancy bars and restaurants and hookers and drug dealers and gang members are going to be. So we'll be right there in the heart of it. So maybe we better go live just to protect ourselves. But we'll do a little bit of shopping, or I guess we can't really buy anything because we don't have room in the luggage. But we will be in Miami. If anybody wants to join us for dinner in Miami, just let me know. We'll be there. And what else? So that's it. So we did work on that. We got those tickets booked, like 500, 600. I don't remember what Lorelai told me, but I think they're just barely under $600 for the cheap seats. And that's not taking a check baggage, which is going to be another $50. But I think we can do it with our carry-on, personal bags, and backpacks. Because you do get one carry-on, which I guess now is about the size of my wallet, because they keep changing the rules and making it smaller. And then you get to have a personal bag like a purse. You also get to have a carry-on like a backpack. I think it's great. I think they should do it. I think a cruise ship terminal would be really good and interesting for the Philippines. If I was the Philippine government, I would be working extremely hard to make this happen. And I'll tell you partly why. One, I mean, it's just an interesting fact is there are a lot of Filipinas that work on cruise ships. A lot of them. I mean, a lot of them. Two, it's a revenue generator for every country that's ever had a cruise port. Revenue, revenue, revenue. The cruise lines have to pay, have to help maintain it. So it's not like the government's doing it all. So then you got the infrastructure improvements, you got tourism improvement, transportation improvement in the Philippines. All of these accessories or ancestries that kind of finger off of a port, a big clean shipping port. It will drive tourism up in the Philippines in the right way. Instead of bringing over sex guys, sexpats, this would allow for people to come in and see the Philippines as a one-day tourist. And that's a good thing, right? You want them, and instead of parking way off and tendering 3,000 people a day into the mainland, if they build a port, then they can just pull right up, refuel, good for the economy in the Philippines, take on more revisions if they need it. And then, of course, people can get on and off of the ship much easier. And what will happen, and this is partly why the Philippines should jump on this, the cruise lines will build the infrastructure. The cruise lines will also build a gigantic mall where the cruise ships are, because that's what they do. It's an outdoor mall. They have restaurants, shops. That's for the Philippines. And that mall just kind of fingers out. Every one I've been to is like, I don't know, just like a little outdoor mall. But beyond the borders of the mall, there's all kinds of other non-mall businesses that start up and set up. So the Philippines, if they really want to improve the economy of the country, they should jump on this. And I mean hard. They should sit there and say, we're here. One, they have the labor force. Lucy likes that. So thank you, Lucy. So it would be a financial windfall for the Philippines. Just telling you. The funny thing is, there are countries that have cruise ports that have generated so much revenue and so much business that they don't know what to do with the money. I can tell you what to do with the money. Now, the bad thing about the Philippines is who's going to get the money? Going to be a lot of money involved. Going to be a lot of bribes in the Philippines, a lot of dirtiness, but there's still going to be a really large trickle down effect to the Philippine people. So, Tim, you need to tell everybody in the Philippines, go for it. Lucy's in the house saying hello, and Tim is saying, "Well, hello, Lucy. Good to see you." So I'm a big fan of it. I really am. We keep in America investing the infrastructure of the ports of America. We recognize in America how much money a cruise ship port brings in. It's like the port of Galveston, Texas. They are redoing their port. One, to make it bigger, but two, to make it prettier, to make it better. The port of Miami is getting some more. I think all the ports are getting some updates. The port in Mobile, Alabama is gone under major renovations itself because they're going to do more cruise ships out of Mobile, Alabama. Big deal. It's good news for the Philippines. It's good news for the people. So, it should be very exciting. I did see the other day, Tim, where I would love, my dream would be to win the lottery and not have to pay for it or not owe any money on a house. The second dream would be to go on a world cruise. They're about a 70 to 80-day cruise. And I saw one the other day that was like a 72-day cruise, and the Philippines was on the list to go to. The local economy would blow up. It would blow up because construction, food, consumptions of consumables, solid goods, medical, you got to have a hospital there. You got to have medical people there. It'd be Tim, Pat. You guys all know. What am I thinking? Is Makati the name? No. What's the name of the really nice city in the Philippines now? There's a Gordon Ramsay restaurant there now. Is that Makati or somebody help me with that? And tourism would be gigantic, and you'd have the right type of tourism. Now the Philippines is known for sexpats, but this would be bringing normal people into the Philippines. BGC, thank you. They would have to create, or just by nature of doing this, they would create a BGC area where the cruise port would be. It just would. There'd be condos going up, people living in the area to work in the area. Obviously, they would pretty it up so people would want to live there because they're not going to want. And one thing to keep in mind, most ships carry at least 3,500 people on them. The gigantic ones carry 7 to 8,000, the super ones. Now, I don't know if they can do a port big enough for those, but if you get one ship, that's 3,500 people. If you get two or three ships and in a day, which is like most ports do multiple ships, you're talking about 10, 15,000 people influx into a condensed area of spending money. Beneficial global city. Oh, really? I didn't know that's what it meant. Okay. And that's where all the fancy stuff is, right? Yes. So you would have to develop something like that there. Gigantic win for the Philippines. They'd be crazy. And if I was the president of the Philippines, I would be calling up the cruise line saying, what do you need in order to make this happen? You know, and then of course it's kind of a standard. It's already standardized throughout the world, pretty much what the towns or the countries are charging the cruise ships for coming there every day. Not only do they get free improvements and jobs for the locals, the government will collect money from the cruise ships. So port taxes, port fees for every tourist that comes into Jamaica, Honduras, they collect a tax. That'd be smart. A few miles from Manila Airport, if they clean up the area. And one thing I'll say is, and this is the problem I have with the Philippines. Jim, if they do this, they got to clean up their shit. Mm. They got to make serious improvements. They're not going to be able to sustain a good, healthy cruise experience if it looks like a hellhole. It's just not going to happen. If there's trash everywhere, diapers in the streets, they're going to have to clean it up because tourism will not survive there. The people will wind up just staying right there in that little location. And then, of course, Tim, what does the Philippines have to offer? A lot of places have a beach, because like the cruise lines will build a private resort. They have to have the physical land to do that, right? Or some of them have, maybe not a beach, but they have a scenic walkway along the water where it's cold, like up north, some of those ports. You gotta enhance the experience. You gotta give a reason for the people to get off the damn boat. And if it looks like shit, people won't venture any further than right off of the ship. They'll stay right there and get on. The infrastructure of a say city, sucky, sucky, sucky. Roads cannot handle the current traffic. Yeah, I know. Well, I thought it was really funny when we were living there. We're going up the national highway. This is really funny. Well, up to Bogo City, where we have all of our properties at, and where they redid the road. So it was like basically a 1.5 lane road. And over time, they kicked all of the vendors off of the road, made them get off. They put a really nice 3 lane highway in the road, really nice. But then when they were done, all the little mom and pop vendors, sorry, story stores, they just came back and they wind up sitting on the road. So now you had a 3 lane road that was down back to a 1.5 road. All they did was give an asphalt place for them to put their sorry store on. And then the other thing I loved the most was they didn't move the freaking telephone poles out of the road. Dolomite Beach, okay, so maybe somebody can develop it. Beaches are very popular because a lot of people just get off the cruise ship and they literally just go hang out on whatever the beach is. It's like, Coco Key, which is a private island, when the cruise ship takes you there, you're just going to a big resort that's owned by the cruise line. When you go to Honduras, we've been there in Aruba. Honduras, they got the same thing right off of the ship. There's a mall. Right over here is a beach that has been fixed up and ran by the cruise lines. But I'm telling you, if the Philippines can't learn that they got to have a pleasant environment, it won't work well. Cruise lines will pull out because what you don't realize is if the people don't get off of the boat, it costs the cruise line money. One, they're paying port fees to that country for everybody on the ship. Whether you get off or on, it doesn't matter. Two, when they're on the boats, on the ships, they eat more food. They consume more resources. When they go to port and they get 3,000 people of the 3,500 off of the boat, they clean, do maintenance. The food goes down because people aren't eating all the food that day. They save a shitload of money. But now, if you go to a port over time and everybody goes, oh no, this is not a great place to be, and they don't get off the boat, there's a new beach approved by a few years ago. All right. Um, I'm sure the cruise lines would come in and redo it anyway. They would really want to try to build off of the tropical vibe, the tropical environment, which is what you'd want them to do. You want them to echo that. I think the biggest thing I think would be, I mean, I think it'd just be fantastic for the Philippines. I really do. But I think the most exciting thing for the Philippines to grow, to develop from a third world nation to maybe a two and a half nation, right? Or a two world nation, whatever, develop, really turn into a developing nation. This would be some way that they could lead that because it would change the image. So, what is the image of the Philippines today? Well, the image of the Philippines is hey, the women are beautiful and everybody's really nice, but their country's dirty. So, who goes to the Philippines for tourism? Single men looking for girls. That's it. Families don't go to the Philippines, right? They don't. Why would you go to the Philippines? You can go to Aruba. You can go to Australia. You can go anywhere else in the world. Thailand. Give me extra headaches when I go over. Yeah, it would definitely give you a lot of headaches because of the traffic. Man, I could see the local politicians drooling over this about how much money they can embezzle off of these projects. I can literally see in the Philippines the local politicians, the barangay from the barangay captains all the way up, are just sitting there licking their jobs, begging, hoping, and pleading that this type of tourism development happens because they will definitely pilfer the coffers, right? So I'm telling you, a lot of money there. Because we spend money and we're poor cruisers, but um, everywhere we go, we pay to do an excursion. Some of that money goes to the locals. It does. But two, while we're out and about in Honduras, in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Aruba, Curacao, the Bahamas, even though we do an excursion, we still wind up spending money locally. I go by and buy a new shirt or hat, or I find something that she wants to give away to somebody. We bring back a lot of gifts for people when we go travel. We do. We've got a few people, and we bring back souvenirs and things. So we will spend cash right there on the spot on the ground. And that's big money. They will become millionaires overnight because you're talking about lots of money. Carnival, these cruise lines, billions upon billions of dollar corporations. And they know that they got to grease the palms to make this happen. Now, what they got to be aware of is they get too greedy, the cruise lines will just go, Henry's in the house. Hello, Henry. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the thumbs up. So the Philippines would be stupid not to do this, but they better not get too corrupt and greedy in the process. Because these companies are worth more money than the entire country of the Philippines. So they're going to be dealing with people that are higher than the president of the Philippines, more powerful than them. Somebody who could call up Donald Trump or the King of England and say, maybe you could rethink your position in helping the Philippines because they're trying to rip us off. And all we're trying to do is build infrastructure there for cruise lines, and we're running into a lot of BS, about how much we should pay off the politicians. Well, our government might just go, or the Bohemian government, whichever, say, well, maybe we'll just do something about trade. Tim says hello to you, Henry. Patrick says hello, Henry. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. I'm okay. Just tired of there. Yeah, you guys have had a lot of rain go through. I saw that all the way through the mid part of Florida. It should be your rain should be wrapping up pretty soon, though. It should be drying out. The rains have stopped here. It's beautiful weather here. Costs billions to build and to outfit. It does. Henry says hello to Tim and Pat. So do you really think they're gonna let some third world president, rock they're just not gonna do it. And I'm sure the politicians are smart enough, or they better be smart enough to know we don't wanna cut our nose off, just because 'cause we're greedy. So they gotta be careful about that. That's one thing I will say. And then, of course, you gotta retrain scams. The Philippines is also known for scams, right? They really are. And even today, they're known to be a country that will scam you. Not only the skin tax, but the bullet scam and this scam. If they start pulling that shit on 7,000 people a day coming off of cruise ships, whoo, that's not going to go well. It's just not. Now, when I've been to Mexico and Honduras and Belize and all of these other countries, am I paying a lot more for a shirt that I could probably buy with inside the island, 10 or 12 miles if I was a local? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's marked and priced. So I know what I'm doing. I'm not, and you can have gold to get the price down. So they're gonna have to be really careful about reshaping their image, I think. And what I will say, everybody, is I would be happy to be a paid consultant. Lorelai and I could do it as a team. The adventures of the Philippine American couple could team up and be an ambassador paid mediator between the two worlds. That's correct. They do. And that's what I mentioned earlier. You can't imagine how many Filipinas we run into on the cruise ships. I mean, every time we go, there's a shitload of them. And I mean a shitload of them. I mean, and that's what I tell single guys in America. If you really want to meet a Filipina, go on a freaking cruise. You don't got to go to the Philippines. Just go down to Miami or Galveston or Mobile or the Carolinas, New York. Go on a cruise. Talk to the girls. They'll tell you which ones are single, which ones are available. And you get to flirt with them, meet them, talk to them. You take pictures with them while you're on the cruise ship. Show them that legally you have now met the requirements for the K-1 visa. And then you can kick off your relationship and see where it goes. And if it goes anywhere, well, you've already met them in person, and that's all that matters. But if you want a Filipina, go take a cruise. Now don't take your wife with you because that's not going to work. But if you're single, get a couple of buddies and go on a cruise. They're everywhere. They're the cleaners, the food servers, the pool attendants. They work in the restaurants. Some work in the bars. I mean, they're everywhere. And I mean, everywhere. Go to a popular bingo hall in many cities. Yeah, yeah. They do seem to like to gamble. At least the ones we know around here seem to really like to gamble. Well, I've known over the years where the husband has flatly told me, we're down $30,000 and I didn't know it. We're down 20 grand and I didn't know it. Apparently, my wife, when she's been hanging out with her friends and karaoke, has been over to the Choctaw Casino in Oklahoma, gambling our effing money away. So they do. We have I don't know what the hell that was. Well, we do have a bingo. Well, what I'll say is this: the Moose Club over here does a bingo night. The senior center down the road in Springdale, they have a big bingo morning every week. They don't have a bingo hall, but they got a bingo event like on Thursday mornings, and they apparently have 50 to 100 bingoers. None of them are Filipina, I don't think. Most of them are just old white people. But they go to that one in Springdale because I got friends that go to that. They love bingo. But yeah, but I got a lot of friends that have lost money. And then when they get in trouble going to the casinos, they go to somebody's house and they play cards for money, and the husbands don't know about it. That's what happens a lot in America. I know guys are going, well, I don't know where all her money's going, and I'm like, well, what is she doing? Well, she goes and hangs out with them. Well, what do they do? She's like, I don't know. I guess they go and eat at somebody's house. I said, do they play cards? Like, yeah, I think they do. Well, you don't understand. They're gambling, is what they're doing. They're not just playing parcheesi or cards or checkers. They literally are gambling the money. That's what they're doing. So, yes, very interesting. But if you want to go on if you want to meet a girl, I mean, you want a lot of money, fair amount of money in bingo? I'm going to tell you a secret about bingo. I've never won a damn thing. And I used to go to a bingo parlor back when I was in my early 20s. It was one of those kind of slimy places. We played bingo on the cruise ship, which is a lot of fun, but it's basically a big, gigantic scam. It costs a lot of money to play bingo on the cruise ship, but it's fun. But we've never won anything, but we still do it. But I got a friend who is winning at the senior center on a regular basis. Yeah, they like to play the video bingo. They do. And the funny thing is, I don't mind playing that in the casinos. I like that in video poker. And that's one thing I'm kind of looking forward to. On the cruise, I'm going to set aside X amount of dollars to take on my cruise just to gamble with. Because we will have some downtime where Lorelai will probably sleep and get her rest. I will be bored shitless because I don't sleep much. Since my coma, I'm lucky to get 3 to 5 hours. I just don't sleep much. So I will be bored shitless at times. And so I will go and get some ice cream for free, some lemonade, or a pizza, or I'll go to the gambling place, the casino, and I will play video poker or video bingo, one of the two, and kill some time. But I haven't decided my bingo budget yet for this cruise. It's a 6-day cruise, but I haven't established my bingo budget. I don't know what my budget is yet. The cruise ship, the cruise is already paid for. I already did that, but I still got to pay for the excursions. And Lorelai just got the tickets ordered today, so we got to pay for those yet still. So that's $1,200 for the 2 tickets for us. Plus the hotel cost is I think $200. We're paying $200 a night for the hotel in Miami and on the river in Miami, which is right off of the by the cruise port. That's it, and that's how I do it, Tim. I would take X amount of dollars, 300, 500, and I'll put it on my account just for bingo, just for, whatever, just for the gambling, and that's it. And then hopefully you can play with the house's money for a while. And if I don't spend it all, I don't spend it all. Because I gotta admit, even at the casino, I get bored pretty easily. So I can't sit at the casino and play games hour after hour after I can't do it. But I can go and play some video poker for an hour and a half, and I'm pretty much bored shitless. it's time to go. So we will do that. Lorelai will go and gamble a little bit, and I'll probably include her into my gambling budget because she really doesn't like to gamble, thank God. That's right. If you win, you keep that, you pocket that. You don't, if you're going in with $500 to blow on gambling, if you win $1,000, you don't have $1,500. You still only have $500. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. And I've never gone broke on a cruise ship. Whatever money I budgeted for my gambling on a cruise ship, I've never left the cruise ship going, I think I lost every bit of that. Never have. I've spent a good majority of it, but I've never been broke gambling. Well, when I go to the casino here, I usually do the quarter machines, yes. The penny machines to gamble. I don't really waste a lot of money. I kind of do the same, plus I'm too cheap. Since I view it as entertainment, I want to get more entertainment for less money. So I too go to the penny machines, which they have very few of anymore, or the nickel slots or the quarter slots. And that's what I do. I like those too. The only bad thing is some of those slot machines are confusing. You know, you got to sit there and go, what the hell are you trying to match? I don't understand what I'm matching here. I mean, it's just, you're not going to get any work out of it anyway. You just pull the button or push the button. But still, it's like dragons and a purple dragon and a red dragon and a blue dragon and then a duck. You know, I don't know what the hell it's supposed to match with who. Not much of a game, but I'd rather have a little fun with the cheap stuff than spend hundreds on something. I agree. Well, I think I just, my brain malfunctioned there. It says, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like to have peso machines. Yes, Dennis. Dennis, I was thinking of you yesterday. Um, I got to be careful how to say this. Dennis, maybe I'll tell you about it in private. But I got something, I saw something yesterday that I think you would appreciate very much. No, you weren't naked, thank God. You know, everybody's a load of Dennis is in the house. So, yes. But Dennis, it was very impressive. I'm just telling you, extremely impressive. And there may be coming video of it. I'm getting ready to mount my new security camera for the front yard. Mike and Venus is in the house. Good to see you. Dennis saying hello. Everybody said hello to Mike. Mike said hello to everybody. So we were talking about the cruise ship port going in the Philippines, talking about gambling, talking about how handsome I am. I know that much. But if anybody else has any subject they want to talk about on therapy night, just let me know. We'll go down those roads. We will go down any dirt road except for talking badly about little children, as you guys all know, and making fun of any race. Mike says, hello, shave. No, are you shaving? Is that what you're doing? Is that what you mean? Henry says, hello. Mike says, well, I did trim my beard today. You know, I found my trimmer. You know, since our bathroom is a disaster, I forgot where I put the trimmer. So I did trim up today, trying to look a little sportier. Yeah, I think I liked this link for a while. So, but it was getting it needed to be trimmed to kind of control it. So you got to trim it up to keep control of it as you let it grow out. Or otherwise, it just looks like a woolly mammoth fell in the dirt. I don't know. Mike, how are you doing in America? How's the weather? Rainy? Pat says hello to you, Mike. Hello, yes. And thinking of that, I know Ken and a few others have talked about doing what I'm calling the North American meetup, Mike, and others in the room. If we are thinking about meeting up somewhere in the central part of the United States, like Springfield or Branson, Missouri, later this year. So remember, if you're interested or know anybody that would like to do a meetup, the meetup is people, anything related to YouTube and just a general meeting of the minds. A little cold compared to the Philippines? Yes. So, Mike, you want to do a meetup? So, we're thinking about doing like Branson or Springfield, Missouri. I know Jamie could do that. I think Ken said he could do that. Provide free beer? Yeah, that ain't going to happen. Not in America. Man, you're too expensive. Man, I wouldn't be able to afford to go on my cruise if I gave you beer. I'd be broke. Well, we could go to the 101 buffet or the Viking buffet in Cebu City. They got free beer for dinner. Yeah, it's not too far. And part of what I was thinking about that was it has a lot of other activities to do besides just getting together. If you want to go look at caves, there's aquariums, museums, the Bass Pro thing, uh, shows, mountains, lakes. It has a whole bunch of different things that you can do individually. Or if somebody brought their families, like if Sanders from Texas or Jimmy from Georgia came up and they wanted to bring their girlfriend or the kids up, there's activities for everybody. And then all of the like-minded people can still we'll pick a day and get together somewhere and do something. So that was my logic behind how to do this. So what we need in regards to this event is a good 4 or 5 people who say, give me a soft commitment. Yes, I would do that. And so like we know Ken would do it, Pat would do it, I would do it, and Mike would do it. So that's 4 people. If we get a few more people, and we get anybody who wants to give you a soft commitment, say, yes, I would come to Springfield or Branson, Missouri. They're about a half hour apart. And then we can work on the date. And then I recognize, and that's why I call it a soft commitment, is if the date doesn't work for somebody, they wouldn't be able to make it. So we would all have to negotiate the date. And then I know AJ was supposed to come back to America. Ken was mentioning, so we can pull that off. Oh, Jamie would come. Miss Avocado, Unbothered Avocado. She's already said that she would bring her family. AJ's back now, so depending on how long he's going to be here, Mike, because I don't have Mike. I don't think I have you and AJ on Facebook Messenger. I don't think I do. If I don't, please message me. But right. So we could put together a group that says, yes, Lucy could come, Mark Bill could come, anybody can come. Anybody related to anything, you have the same mindset as some of us handsome looking people, you can all come. Henry could come if he wanted to. He'll be back soon. See? Okay, yeah. I'll drop my Facebook, Mike, because I thought we were on Facebook, but but I don't know if we've ever messaged each other. And I'm not real smart when it comes to this stuff. But Fishing with PAC just dropped my and Lorelai's Facebook page. Mike, you see it there? So that's our Facebook page. WhatsApp, more now, is that like for phone calls? I guess I can do that. Other people have told me the same. I don't think I ever downloaded. I think I do have it on my phone. I don't know how to use it yet, but we can figure that out. But then again, you're in the United States now, right? So making a phone call, not a big deal. Just meet up in the Philippines? Well, that's a good possibility, and it is. But we go back in the year 2027. We've already talked about meeting up with some people there in the Philippines. It's very soft because we don't know when we'll be back in 27. But Tim, hopefully we can meet up with you and a bunch of other people. So we've already started talking. That's one of the things we would do in the 2 weeks that we're in the Philippines before we go to Singapore. See, Jamie's here. I'm back in the background listening, feeding the baby. Just got Bruce to sleep. I've had a heck of a long day. Tomorrow it's going to be even longer. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Mike, I will text you later. That's fine. Okay. Okay. All right, Mike. Appreciate that. Because Pat and I talk on a regular basis. Ken and I talk to a lot of the guys on a regular basis. So maybe we can get this figured out. I got it. I got your number written down. Mike, go ahead and everybody said hello to Jamie. She's been dealing with the babies all day. You've had a long day. I understand. We've had a long 2 months, it seems. And we had some drama the last couple of days. And man, uh, plus trying to get ready for the cruise. And I know first world problems, right? My problems aren't anything like Jamie's problems. I bitch and whine about mine, but mine are good problems to have, I guess. It's kind of like when you make a lot of money and you got to pay taxes on it. It really shitty sucks that you pay the taxes on it, but at least you made the money. Yeah, I messaged Tim. Tim and I messaged back and forth. And the one thing I like about Messenger, and I don't know about WhatsApp app, is you can just FaceTime anybody in the world. Because I do that with people in the Philippines. They will. Lorelai does it all the time with her girlfriends in the Philippines. And Henry and I have been in contact before. So Sanders and I chat once in a while down in Texas. So, there's a lot of us that stay connected. But I'll try to figure out the WhatsApp. Okay, but it's more secure. I think I have it on my phone. I really do, Mike. I just, because I know Galactic Gaming and Galactic lives in Germany, I think, or England. And him and I were doing it back and forth a while back. Miss Avocado says, so there's been a cruise up and down our street for the last week doing repairs. I guess to the crew doing utilities because G Fiber came through here a few weeks ago and some got messed up. However, I don't know. So they're upgrading your fiber optics. Yes. Well, we can add it to it, but we can't get off of Messenger because we have too many people in the Philippines and other parts of the world that we use that for. But we can add WhatsApp to our repertoire. We can do it. Today they were working in front of our house on the water line. At first, two guys are speaking Spanish. Okay, they're yelling at each other, starting yelling at trucks as they. um, the big boss man shows up and says, "What the hell are you doing?" Knocks on the door. Charlie answers, says, "We need to flush your toilet and run water. We think somebody hit the line." That's horrible, but funny. But I have groups there especially for YouTube friends and other. I got you so you can compartmentalize. Okay, nice. Big John says hello to everybody. Everybody say hello to Big John. I got you, Mike. I got you. But Pat is there? All right, good. Because we will start a soft committee type of group to help plan our meetup in Springfield, Branson. So we're gonna like we'll put together a small little team and work on getting this figured out. So so it turns out there is a leak in the water line out front. Okay, they're going to turn all the water lines tomorrow. Fix it. Charlie told him he can. Oh my God! Around 4:30 to 5. Yeah, geez, that's crazy, man. That sucks. So you got to be careful about a breach in the water lines. You don't want poisonous water coming in. But they'll get it fixed. They will. It just, will make things a mess for a while. So, but that's our plan. I think Big John might even attend the event. Jamie's going to bring the babies and attend the event. We'll get it all figured out, Mike. We'll work on it. You and I can talk behind the scenes a little bit. Dennis is going to come down from Canada because I've already promised Dennis there'll be arm candy at the North American meetup. And Dennis said that he's on his way. He's already got booked a flight. Unbothered avocados is loaded. Big John and everybody else. And Patrick. Good to see you, Jamie. Yes. So, oh man, we've been dealing with crap at our house too, Jamie. We're in week 7, going into week 8, or week 6, going into week 7. To get our bathroom back up and running. So, yep, yeah, about 8 hours for you. Well, the logic would be for everybody to stay. If you live far away, just book something somewhere. They got houses, they got lakes, they got hotels, they got resorts, they got everything around there. I mean, a lot of it's pretty cheap. You're gonna have to pick up Pat. All right. Or maybe if Ken comes, then maybe Pat can ride with Ken. All right, so you can go up there, pick him up, stay the night, and then you guys can head down. That'll be good. That works. Or maybe you can pick Ken up on the way and all three of you guys can ride together. And they can pay for all the gas, Mike. Because if Ken's going to come down from the same part of the country, or if AJ's in the world, maybe you guys can all just group together and drive down. Take turns driving. We are, Jamie. We're talking about Branson Springfield. So he's by Pat. Ken is by Pat. Right, Pat? Tim says, I'll be back in a few minutes. Tim is in the Philippines, so he's too far to pick up. But Patrick, Ken is by you, right? Not too far from you? So, yeah, Jamie, what we're talking about is Branson, Springfield area. So Springfield has a lot of really good stuff. It's kind of more in the center. It's 30 minutes from Branson. So you can run to Branson in 30 minutes. But Springfield has the National Aquarium, the best one in the nation right now, built by Bass Pro Shops. They got the largest Bass Pro Shop, a nature center. They got all kinds of things to check out in Springfield, along with some caves. We've done the caves up there. The caves are between Branson and Springfield, kind of. Uh, Gotta go pee, do you? Well, go pee. And I'll invite the guys down in Texas. Maybe they want to bring their families up, which I would love to see them. Yeah, Jamie, what we're working on is we're going to put together a little group of people and we're going to start hashing out a date. Right now, just roughly, I'm thinking early fall. So to give everybody plenty of time. So what is that? September, October, early October-ish, maybe early fall. One, it'd be very pretty in the Ozarks with all the leaves. Plus, it'd give everybody time, and summer will be over. give everybody time to make plans, save up the money, and organize. So right now, that's what I'm thinking tentatively, and that's just my 2 cents. I welcome everybody else's 2 cents. So I don't want anybody to think, it's my way or the highway. I'm driving the boat or anything. I'm just trying to facilitate the conversation and get things going forward. I do have a document that I put out about how to do one of these things because I used to put on conferences all the time, big, large events, way bigger than this, with corporations and sponsors and lots and lots and lots of moving parts, guest speakers, everything. So that's just what I'm throwing out there right now. And if that sounds good to everybody, and then that'll give them time to plan, but I think it'll be fun. The Branson, Missouri has a lot of cool stuff to see and do, a lot of shopping. Yeah. So yeah, it'll start, cooling down a little bit in October, early October, late September. You know, versus 100 degrees. Yeah. Gonna have the daughter with you up in the summer. Nice. But she has to go back in August. Okay. Pat says, I'll be right back. I gotta go pee, Pat says. So that's kind of what we're thinking. I'm back. I'm back in the saddle again. And but we'll get everybody's input about what works, but that's just what I threw out there. Well, I'm happy for you, Mike. I think you might have some medical conditions, Michael, if you're worried about whether things come out right or not. Just saying. Just saying. You may have some issues. Oh yeah. September, October. I'm a joker. I'm a midnight joker. Yeah. And your babies will be older, more stable in their lives. So yeah, it'll be all right. Gives everybody time. We got a few YouTubers around us that might like to attend, and you know, everybody. Here's how I believe things. Once we kind of get the event time and date set up, we'll have a small group, beat the bushes, and figure out what works best. We will get it set up, and then we'll invite everybody who wants and can attend the event. There's a song, if you don't know me by now, you'll never know me. Tough. I think that would be wonderful. So yeah, that's what we're thinking. So yeah, but there's also a lot of family things to be done, a lot of adult things that can be done. There's go karts and miniature golf and going to caves. You know, shopping, restaurants out the butt. So a lot of things to do in that part of the world. You like adult things, do you? Do you know what an adult thing is? Now you better put that adult thing back in your dresser drawer. Yeah, yeah, you won't be too far from us, right, in Jefferson. And we'll come up and help and we'll get you to help us. Venus will cut you. That's right. She'll cut you deep and hard. Oh, it's all right. We know that you do that. We know it's part of your personality. But yeah, I think it would be a good time. Uh, I think everybody will have fun. It'll be. One good thing is for anybody doing social media, for like myself, Michael, we would have a lot of content to make videos on. So we can all live stream the same damn event. You can have 30 people live streaming the same damn event. So, and Michael, um, I would appreciate you picking up Pat. I would. I would appreciate you doing that. And that's just from me to you. I would appreciate the fact that you could do that. You'll probably be the oldest one? Is that what you mean? Oh, you said the closeted one? You'll be the only one in the closet? Oh, closest one. I thought you meant, something else, but you meant closest to Pat. I agree. Yes, Mrs. Pack will attend. She will indeed. She will indeed, and she'll definitely hang out with the babies. Oh my God, I can use so many live streams at once. I know. Yeah, no, yeah, I know you do. But I'm just telling you, I appreciate the thought that you could do that. Like a little brother to all of us. We just got to get him on the right path. So yeah, my Mrs. Pack uh, would attend if all, yeah. So she'll be there for sure. And that's what I mean. It doesn't need to be an adults only thing. Just make it a big family thing. And I think you have better success and it's more fun to do that. You know. So, if there's anybody else that you can think of that I don't know, you can let me know. I can send him an invitation. You can send him an invitation. It's like my friend James way out in California. I talked to him. I'd like for him to come out and do it and stay. We got friends in Florida and Georgia and Texas. Uh, Hopefully, maybe some of them can come up for the event. More fun, more content. It is. We will. What we need to do is a group chat, Michael. So what we need to do is, and maybe you and I have to kind of drive the bus somewhat, but maybe you, I, Ken, and anybody else, Pat, whoever else wants to be on the bus. So we need to figure out who wants to give us a self commitment to going to the event. Not saying they're absolutely 100% going to go because of whatever, but if you like, I can give a self, I can give you a commitment that wherever we do it, whatever we do, Lorelai and I can usually attend. We can do it. So I have group. Well, yeah, group chats, but I'm not. Why not? Why I don't get invited? Huh. All right, I see how you are. Um, Michael, I'll be talking to Venus very soon about you. I just want you to know that. Okay. Just, I'm going to make sure Venus knows that I'm not invited to your group chats. No, you didn't. You were probably drinking that day and typed in the wrong name. You know. Oh, come on, Michael. Well, now I do because we need to. Uh, now I need to do it because we need to do it. So there you go. Necessity is the mother of my motivation. There, you're right. Maybe that's the logic behind it. But I know we can do something. It doesn't got to be super complicated. It just doesn't. I'm looking forward to that. Well, that'd be nice. I invited you to my house. I've told you if you ever need anything while you're in the U.S. and the United States of America, to let me know. Man. Henry says I am back in the house again. It's simple. All right. Well, send me an invite again. I don't know how to send me an invite, but send me an invite again. Well, I know, but at least I invited you, right? At least I invited you. That's what you got to remember. Everybody say hello to Henry. Thanks for coming back. Pat is out back. Pat had to go pee too. Everybody had to go take their pee breaks. So Henry's back. Henry can drive up if he wants to. He knows the area. So, but we'll invite everybody. It'll be a good time. That's right. It's the thoughts that count because that's the only thing I have to count. Uh, he does. He has a hard time defining it, and then it's that starting and stopping, starting with that. You know, uh, he has a Monster Energy drink. uh, Chef Roasting is in the house. Good to see you. How are you? Thank you for the thumbs up. What's up in your world? Tonight is um, therapy with PAC. So we can talk about anything tonight. Other channels, he's called Monster Pat. That's good for Pat. That's good. That's good. I'm happy for him. I don't show mine to anybody. My wife won't let me. She gets mad if I do that. So, but I think we can pull it off. You know, I do. Henry says he might drive his 48 Mercury up there to Missouri. Good. I know Big John lives in Missouri. I know there's a bunch of other people that live all around us. I can't I can't think of me as Turtlehead. Oh my goodness. Dennis is gonna come to the meetup. He's gonna we'll even invite the Canadians. That's right. Miss Avocado AV, the hottie, is in the house with the babies, and she's gonna come to the North American meetup, Dennis. So you can fly over from the land of Canada and meet us. We're gonna stay in a resort type area. But she's gonna come down with the husband and the babies. Now, she's not very far from that location, about maybe 3, 4 hours. There you go. You're going to come by sled, pulled by penguins. I hope they got their the veterinarian shots. Hope they got their shots to get across the border. Yes, Dennis, I'm here, but I'm in the background taking care of the baby right now. Yes. Tina Marie, yeah, they went back to Canada. That's right, to me, yeah. So I'm sure that she's very happy to be back in Canada. She could fly down and join us, Mike. You know, her and her husband can come down to America and join us. I don't know if she can because I don't know if her citizenship's Canadian or not. But we'd invite them too. They did. They were in Vietnam, Japan, the Philippines, Thailand. Yeah, we hooked up with them a lot on the live stream over the last few months of their traveling. So yeah, we've actually gone. They've been around a lot of places in the live streams. Wow, look at that. They are great people. Dennis says, AB, put the gripe down. Oh my God. Tim just released a short video a little while ago, 2 hours ago. It already has 1,500 views. Everybody go to Tim's channel tonight and give him more views. Glad you got to meet them in person. Yes, it was good, right? You got to hook up with them twice. Yeah. So, Mike, we could invite them to join us in Missouri. Tim is going to fly over from the land of Philippines. That's wow, Tim. That is good. That is good. I've been throwing up shorts left and right, because I'm trying to get to 1 million views. We can invite anybody that anybody wants to invite. We really can. Like I just said, we didn't invite Dennis. You know, oh, that's a shocker, and it's out. But it'd be good. It'd be a good time. We will. I mean, we know a lot of couples. We personally know a lot of couples, and a lot of people that are YouTube support people. And we'll send invitations out to the ones that we know that might have an interest, like the ones in California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. I try to show your shorts. Yeah. Nobody wants to see you in your underwear. Instead of throwing up shorts, try panties. Yes. I have a funny short that I'm going to be doing here soon. I just got to find it. Not the short, but the object I'm going to use in the short. I don't know where I put it. Tim says, if you invite me, you better send me a round trip to Dennisville. When I win the lottery, Tim, I'll send you a first class round trip ticket. I did win $1 the other day. So you can have that $1 towards your first class ticket, Tim. Oh, okay, on it. Yes, yes. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good. We know the area well, so we can help anybody with travel arrangements, questions, concerns about the region. We can help you figure all of that out. 'Cause we've been to the whole region, 22,000 million times. But we're excited now. Lorelai's going to Chicago in June. She's abandoning me. I'm going to be doing a video about how my wife has abandoned me. You think that will get me any views? Filipino wife abandons American husband. That's going to be my title. What do they call that? Clickbaiting. So watch out for my future clickbait video. Tim's got to go work out to keep, looking butt in the Philippines. Well, don't get too hot. Tim said it's going to be 114 degrees where he's at in the Philippines. Sure, Michael, yes, absolutely. Yes, why not? Clickbait, yeah, not not the other clickbait, but yes, clickbait. That's right. Filipino wife leaves American husband, abandons. That's a better word, abandons, right? Because she's going to abandon me for like 4 days. Yeah, you can work on it, seriously. We kind of do the Jimmy Buffett thing. I know you know who Jimmy Buffett is. Jimmy Buffett type of thing, vibe, Caribbean, Jimmy Buffett. That's kind of, Neil Diamond would be another world I go into. But we're big Jimmy. I'm more of a Jimmy Buffett. I visualize my channel as Jimmy Buffett land, kind of like a parrot head, but not too much. Not all the way parrot head, but I like the vibe of that because we hope to move to Florida next year. I mean, we try to live that beach lifestyle, salt life lifestyle is what we want to do, Michael. We want to live that. So think of that, little Jimmy Buffett inspired. I'll do it now. Start it. Okay. Appreciate that. You can just message me, email me. I don't know how you get it, how you use it. I don't know how you put it on things either. You might have to give me yeah, you lost my flip flops. Margarita time somewhere. There's always a woman to blame. So the also the I'm a big patriotic guy, so I do love uh, like Neil Diamond, America. I like those, American Apple Pie by Don McLean. I like the Jimmy Buffett world, and I like the yeah 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 America rock and roll side of the world. I like that classic rock. Lost your flip flops? Yes. I don't like flip flops. I don't wear them. I wear sandals because those little things that goes between your toes, I don't like that. Drives me crazy. Gonna do it before you do. You lost your subscription. Yes. So very good. But yeah, we got Dennis. If you're listening, you saw that you know having more problems in the cabinet. We did. We have another big drama right now that I need to do a little short video on. I'm going to go to Lowe's this weekend because we're going to do some work. And I'm going to make a short video in Lowe's store because I think it will explain a bad situation that we got in at Lowe's in 3 minutes or less. So we're going to work on that. And but we got in a situation. I'll tell you this situation. So when the house got flooded 7 weeks ago, and we called the insurance company. We have been working on that, and I like documentation, so I made I have every document the insurance company ever sent me, which Allstate has been great. The company they recommended, which is Paul Davis, which is a franchise, I made them give me a copy of everything they sent the insurance company and everything. Got it all stapled together, organized. Well, with all this drama going on, I thought the other day, well, um, I'm going to put all of this insurance documentation into my folder about how we had this house built when we had it built, right? So in my house folder. So I got out my house folder the other day and we're screwing around with it and looking at it. And I also went to the Benton County tax records, so the real estate tax records. And I'm going to use simple numbers to make it simple. Let's say our house is 2,000 square feet. That's what we paid for when we bought it. Our tax collector had it listed at 1,800 square feet. Well, most people would go, hey, that's great. That means you're paying less taxes on your house. Very true, except for the fact that we're going to sell this. If I went to go sell it today or the other day, when we look up all the paperwork, the new owner, the new bank would only want to pay me for 1,800 square feet. So I would have lost thousands upon thousands of dollars, right? Just imagine 200 square feet and $225 a square out the window. So we knew we could get this fixed. I didn't know exactly how to fix it. Lorelei is really good with paperwork and details, so she messages the tax collector. The tax collector says, no, 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 your builder is wrong. Your builder is wrong. Your builder didn't give you 2,000 square feet because we, the tax people, can't be wrong, not us. You know, we're the government. We can't be wrong. Okay, but you do understand that we would have to pay you more money if you're wrong. Yeah, but we can't be wrong. We're the government. So we get a hold of the builder, uh, send them a certified letter explaining the situation. They kind of got mad at us, indicated that they ripped us off, sent us a legal letter from their attorney um, to us, and we used that. And then the other thing I did was I called my bank, my mortgage company, because I have a mortgage on this house. I called them up and said, hey, look, so here's the problem. The tax people are saying one thing, the builder's saying another thing. My build paperwork says one thing. So either you and I, the bank collectively, because the bank and I are in business together, either we have a problem with the tax collector and or the builder ripped us off. And that means they committed fraud and all this other shit to the bank. And that's why the builder got mad because they know they'd be in legal trouble. And technically, I'll get to a finer point in a minute. All right, so, but the lady at our bank, really nice, bank of, what do we use? USA Bank, is who we use for the mortgage. Great people, or Bank of America, I don't know, I don't know, one of those. But anyway, so I talked to the bank lady. The bank lady is very helpful, very kind. And she's like, and I told her, and she's like, all right, let me pull up the entire file on your property and see what our records show. Well, luckily for us, her records show that we paid for 2,000 square feet and it's well documented in the appraisals and to the blueprints we had from the builder. Gave us new blueprints to show that it was 2,000. The bank sent over all of their documentation to prove that it was 2,000 with independent appraisers doing the work for the bank. So Lorelei forwarded all of those emails to the tax lady. You just kind of wonder. So she forwards everything to the tax lady. A little bit later, she gets an email back from the tax lady saying, okay, we recognize that we were wrong in the tax office, but we're only going to say that your house has 1,980 square feet in it. We don't agree that there's 2,000 square feet. By God, we're not going to give you 2,000 square feet. We're only going to give you 1,980 square feet, you bastards. And if you don't like it, Lorelei said, well, that's unacceptable. She wrote her back and said, well, that's unacceptable. One, you're telling a potential buyer a difference from what that doesn't work for us. So she said, well, all I can do is send out an adjuster or an appraiser to measure your house. And we told her, fine, do it. He came by today. Really nice guy. He comes by today. I walk him around the house. I help him do the measures. I'm talking to him about it. I explained to him the history of it. And he admitted something's not right. It's like this doesn't make sense. And so he does his thing. He does his thing. He goes back to the tax office. He tells the tax people his report, gives them a report. We get an email from the tax person, literally a little bit before 5 saying, okay, we're now going to adjust the square footage of your house from 1980 to 1997. You know, so you're off by 3 square feet. Oh, holy shit and mud farts. I mean, they just can't, lose. So they're punishing us by 3 square feet. Not a big deal. That's, only less than $1,000. So we'll stop at this point. We're close. So it'll be fine. When we sell the house, we're going to say 2,000 square feet. And we'll try to use the bank's information, forget the government's. So we'll still go after the full 2,000 square feet. It doesn't really matter. But I find it extremely humorous. One, the government can't make some mistakes. Absolutely not. Two, by God, they just aren't going to give us the 2,000 square feet come hell or high water. They're just not going to do it. Oh my God. And that's taken us until today. So that's been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and today. We've been dealing with that. The other thing, which is not a big deal because we will make the adjustments accordingly when we sell, is they have this house way undervalued. They don't have they have the wrong house. And that's one thing we figured out. I was talking to the adjuster, the appraiser about it. They picked the wrong house. Somehow at the tax office, the house that's two doors down from ours is the house that they think is on this lot. The square foot it matches, the finishing matches. It's the cheaper house of the neighborhood. So they threw that somehow over here on our land. And I talked to him about that. I said, "What do you think?" That's what he was like. Well, let me, pull that one up. He's like, "Well, yeah, that matches the numbers." And I said, "Look, that says, because we don't have carpet in this house, and we have upgraded cabinetry, as you guys seen on the shorts. Bathrooms upgraded. We have a lot of upgrades in this house, and that house is the builder's spec house. It's a cheap house. So, but no, that lady, that office, the tax lady's just not going to do 3 more square feet. Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of holy fart fires. What in the hell do you think of that? I mean, so that's the drama we've been dealing with for the house, not including the insurance claim with Paul Davis, who's a, franchise construction company who took a 10-day job into an 8-week job. So my recommendation at this point is not to hire Paul Davis. You remember the house, Henry? Yeah, Henry's been here. He came up to one of the parties. I think either Halloween. I think a Halloween party. So we would invite Mike, but to a Halloween party. But then again, you know, we'll see. But that's how that goes. So we're trying to get the house because when we have this, when the house get reappraised when we sell it, the upgrades will be part of that. So we're not worried about that. When we market it, the house, we'll put all of that in. Not worried about that. Not. But that's why I looked at was look, yes, they have our correct floor plan, but they have the numbers for that house down there in our system. It was a Halloween party. Nice, nice, nice. Miss Jamie says, "Oh my gosh, it'd be such a pain in the butt when I tried to sell my house. I ended up selling it. When the inspector came out, he felt it automatically. My realtor says everyone fails the first. I've never failed one. Never. I've never failed a home inspection. Never. So that sucks. He failed it because he wanted me to paint my wooden back door. Okay, now so it was up to code, and he wanted me to paint the concrete siding of my house. Okay. Well, it's really not a well. Jamie, here's what I know about this is if the buyer is going through like a FFH loan through the government loan, it has all of these things like the door and the brick have to be painted, or the government won't loan the money. But if somebody's buying your house through like Regions Bank or Bank of America or Bank of Lipton Iced Tea, then that's not the case because it comes back to me, the buyer, to ask you to either fix those or to take a little bit of money off so I can fix them. And therefore, but if you're going through a government loan, like um, a low income loan, then all of that has been, screens can't be torn, toilets have to work. I mean, everything, windows can't be broken. Um, Henry says, yep, I've had a few houses that made it very clear as is. So although they passed inspection, still had some things that need to be fixed. Well, everything needs something to be fixed. That's the key. Yeah, yeah, HUD houses. Okay, that's what I was thinking of, maybe HUD. Housing and urban development. And there is just stuff they had to have it done under the government, correct? It's, yeah, expensive, and yeah, I would agree. I totally agree, Jamie. You know, luckily, all of our houses, we haven't had to go through a government program. But then again, all of our houses, you know, since I know, understand this, I will go through the house myself and do a home inspection before I put it on the market. So I literally myself, because I've been there, done that, and I understand this world, I will go through this house and do a home inspection, which we keep it up anyway. But it's a new house, so it's easy. But our other older house has been the same way. So we made sure everything works and in good repair. But they're always going to come back and say, hey, you should give us $100 off or $200 off because I don't know. Yep, they want to make sure they get what they want, but really, reality is a lot of times you can't get what you want, so they just try to cut corners and make it ready. Yeah, I would agree with that. No, so now on the other side of that coin, if you're buying the house, you want to be picky, right? If you're buying a house, I'm happy to be picky, and I will nitpick a house to death in order to try to save a dollar. Yep. And so what I had was I found a buyer, but I was leaving the States and my realtor took over. My brother was helping me sell the house. Good. When we were in Texas, the house in Michigan. Okay, yeah. And you can give it over to the and you can do that. You can say, okay, my house did not pass HUD inspection. So instead of me doing all of this work, I'm not going to sell the house to somebody from HUD. You can say that and do that. You don't have to sell it to HUD or through HUD. You don't have to. You can reject a buyer for a number of reasons. You can't reject them for race, but you can reject them because you don't like their financing. So there's a lot of things you can do. So the realtor's husband had it to come up and out with some of the repairs. Yes, but yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes you got to do minor cosmetic things to get things, or you know, one of the last houses we had, and I thought it was funny, was and this real estate deal pissed me off, but we won in the end. Buying a house, and as long as everything works and it's functioning and the roof is not leaking, yes, you got to make sure your foundation's good, your electrical, your plumbing, and your roof. No problem. There's a hole in the roof and water. Yeah, it's a problem. One of our houses that we had some years ago, we sold it to somebody out of California. They paid over the asking price and they paid cash, which is great. So our realtor that we used, um, we were going on a cruise. This is when we sold that house. When we got back, our money was supposed to be sitting in the bank or at the closing office. When we got back from our cruise to Aruba, when we got back here, our house was still in our possession because I hadn't signed the line yet and I hadn't got the money yet. I get back to America. Well, I drive by the house. Well, turns out that my realtor, who did both deals, allowed the guy, even though I told him no, because he asked me before we went to Aruba, will we do early occupancy? And I said, absolutely not. He said, well, what if they pay you, blah, blah, blah? I said, no, I don't want them in my house until I get my money in the bank. No, flatly told him that. We get back from Aruba, drive by the house, and there's a guy living in my house. So, as you know, David got pissed. David hit the freaking roof. And um, before that, the other thing right before that was, I thought it was funny. The guy said that the home inspector found that the faucet in the kitchen had a slight leak in it, and they wanted me to fix it. And there was one other thing like that. And I told him no. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And I told our realtor, no, no, sorry. If they don't want to buy the house, and I knew they did because they had all the money and they were paying over the price. So I'm like, no, I'm not fixing those two things. They can get it done themselves. Plain and simple. And Ozzy's in the house. Good to see you, Ozzy. But when I got back, somebody living in my house, I called my real estate guy and I said, hey, we're back in the United States. Want to touch base with you. And why in the hell is there somebody living in my house? And I have no check in my hand because I called the closing company when we landed and said, hey, I'm headed back to Arkansas. When can I pick up my check? And they told me, well, we don't have a check for you. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have a check for me? Well, nobody sent us a check over. And I said, well, can you figure out where the hell my check is? And they're like, yeah, yeah. And they're like, well, we don't know where. They didn't, they called back and said, sorry, but it hasn't. So that's when I drove by the house, saw this, called him, ripped him a new asshole because somebody's in my house. And I told him, no, not to having anybody in my house. And two, where the hell was my money? And I told him, I said, look, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 1 hour. You got 1 hour to get that check to the closing company, and that closing company better get into my bank account within an hour. For I'm going to my house and I'm kicking his ass out of my house. You got 1 hour to get that money into my bank account, or that old boy is being dragged out of my house without question. Ah! Look, you done screwed the pooch. You're lucky I'm not calling the board of realtor on you, and I did that later. But I told him, you're lucky I'm not doing that. You're lucky I'm not having his dumbass arrested for being in my house unlawfully. And I said, 1 hour. So guess what? That money was in my bank account within an hour. And then I went over and did a little bit more paperwork. And then the nerve of this idiot butthole crackhead of a sales agent, real estate agent, wanted, because we're doing all these e-signing things. And he wanted me to e-sign that he didn't let anybody in my house early. I refused to sign it. Absolutely not. And I turned that over to the board of realty and said, here's what he did. And now he's trying to get me to sign off, acting like he didn't break the rules. So pissed me off really bad. Ozzy's in the house. Everybody's hello to Ozzy's. Now you guys got me fired up. Ozzy, how are you? How's your weather up there in the great northeast? Ozzy, are you going to come down to the great state of Missouri and hang out with us later this year? We're going to have a large meetup or a small meetup or just a meetup in the great state of Missouri in the future. So good to see you. Thank you, Ozzy, for being here. Hope you're doing well. There may even be some women folk there. I think Dennis said that he was going to bring a bunch of women from Colombia and Venezuela. They're going to be his arm candies. Rain pretty much all day here in the New Hampshire land. Yes, I know. The East Coast has been getting hammered all the way from Florida to New Hampshire. So hopefully it's blowing out of your system. It's going to be a meeting of the minds. That's right. So we're right now working on it, putting together a collective that wants to make a soft commitment, is what I'm calling it, to attend. And we're going to be putting a date together and working on all of that. We're going to meet like in Springfield, Missouri, Branson, Missouri area. It's all the same, about 30 minutes apart. It's a big tourist area, so it gives the people a lot of things to do. If they want to bring family, they can. If they want to go, deer hunting in the woods, I guess they could. I don't know. It's country, but it's very touristy. Ozzy's saying, sorry, Henry is saying hello to Ozzy. Sounds like a party. And I promise you, Ozzy, Michael, MJ will not be naked. I absolutely promise you, no matter how drunk he gets, he will be keeping his clothes on. Saying hello to you. So that's the housing thing, Jamie. So it can be quite complicated. It can. It's always drama buying and selling houses. Lawson's in the house. How are you? What are you doing, Lawson? Ozzy likes it. Says, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to come down to Missouri and join you. Maybe Lawson can join us in Missouri. So that's it. Ozzy said, it's only like a 30-hour drive from New Hampshire. So, hey, I could drive that in an hour, half a day. I guess if you lived in New Hampshire, you may want to fly to the area or take a couple of weeks to get there and do some touristy stuff along the way. Everybody say hello to Lawson. How are you, my friend? You got a video that went up recently or live stream? Henry says he knows the area well. Yes, been there many times myself. We go everywhere though. We've been a lot of places. There's so many places we want to go, but we've been blessed. I think it's funny. My wife sometimes get on these kicks, but we never go anywhere. We've never been anywhere. Oh, life is so boring. All I do is work. But yet, we've been to what, 9, 10 different countries, about 30 something different states. We've been to festivals and shows and the Philippines. I mean, but we don't go anywhere and we don't do anything. You know, we've done things. We've done hot air balloon rides. We've done caves. We've done mountain overlooks. We've been in the rivers. We've been in the oceans. We've been in each. We've been in that ocean, that ocean, that ocean. Canada doesn't have oceans. We haven't been there. You know. Yes, Missouri is quite a trip for you. It is, but you can take a couple of days to get there. It's almost summer. It feels like summer. It was 74, 5 degrees here today. It was a beautiful day. I got some outdoor stuff to do over the next week to 10 days. I'm trying to do before it gets hot. And then I got to get those done early. Yeah, Henry's still in Mississippi. So it'd be a good trip for him. It'd probably be about 11-hour trip, maybe 12. 11 to 12 for Henry. Patrick says, I am back. Man, that was a long pee, Patrick. Wow. Man, I hope you didn't flood the house. Henry says, good to see you back. My sisters live an hour from me, and I haven't been there in 6 months. So that tells you how much I travel. Well, you got to get out of that mold, man. I was telling the guys earlier, I was telling everybody earlier that, if you want to meet a Filipina, go on a cruise ship because we've got a cruise in October. Hey, if anybody wants to go on the cruise that we're going on, let me know. I'll send you the information. It's only a 6-day cruise out of Miami. Not real expensive of a cruise at all. So if anybody wants to join that cruise, let me know. You're not staying in my room, but you can get your own damn room. But you got to change that. Travel is the only reason to be alive and kicking if you don't have. Patrick says hello, Henry. Ozzy says hello to you, Patrick. Patrick's gonna come. Ken's gonna come. Michael's gonna come. AJ's gonna come. Henry, Dennis. We've got like 12 people coming. Jamie's coming with the babies. So our friend Jimmy John down in Georgia will be invited. All the people in Florida, Texas. So I picked a resort town because I thought it would be more of a draw versus everybody coming just to meet one another. I wanted to give people another reason to come because Branson, Springfield, Missouri is kind of cool. There's a lot of cool shit there. It's not as cool as like Las Vegas if you like showgirls, but you know, it's all right. It's a safe place. I agree. I'm in a rut. We're going to get you out of that rut. You need to go on a cruise. You need to go flirt with the Filipinos on a cruise ship and get their number. Take pictures with them and then get their phone numbers and chat them up. Yeah, you agree about that? Useless. I have to drive my Jag. Unless I have to drive my Jag, but I think my Mercury is more comfortable. Good. Oh, all right. We'll probably drive a nice car, Subaru. You like that, Ozzy? Lawson says, have you heard about the antivirus on cruises? I'm not worried about it, and I don't want anybody else to be stressed over that either. I'm not a microbiologist or anything, but I've studied enough and I've been around the world enough and the environment and science enough that's a very, very hard virus to transmit. It's really, really hard to transmit, and it's dying out, and they're getting it under control. So I don't want anybody to stress over that. It's not COVID all over again. I don't want you to do that. And they found the source of it from that stupid bird watcher who went to a trash dump in Argentina, in Patagonia, Argentina. The bird watcher goes and his wife, they go to a trash dump where it's full of rats to watch birds. That's how they got it. I just got to get clean for travel. Yes, we got to do the same. I have a 3/4 ton Silverado with a 6.6 liter. You can do it. You can do it, man. It's only, what is that? What would that be for you, Ozzy? Wouldn't that be about a good, about an 18-hour drive for you? Wouldn't it be an 18-hour drive? But you could stop and see your sister on the way. You can say, hi, sister. I came by. I'm going on a trip to Missouri, so I thought I'd say hi. I haven't seen you in a year, but hi. Branson, Missouri. Yeah, Branson, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri. They're about 30 minutes apart from each other. And I say both cities because they're both touristy and they're real close. Lawson, would you like to come to the North American meetup? You'd be welcome to do it. We're going to be in Branson. I know you know where Branson is. Yeah, it's not as contagious, but it's a lot more deadly. I think has a 38%. It may be more deadly, but here's the other thing I'll tell you. The really good thing is we already know and understand this virus. This virus has been known, identified for well over 100 years. It's come out, it's broken out 4 or 5 different times. So the scientists, the medical people already know this virus very well. COVID was such of a disaster because they didn't know anything about it. This one they know, and they're going to get it in check. But yeah, it has a high death rate. I would agree with you. But I'm not worried about it. I'm not scared of it. What I will think is funny and interesting is, isn't it kind of interesting that during Donald Trump's first term of president, we had COVID? Now in his second term, magically we have this additional virus for his second term, and there is a 4 year gap in between. Little makes you think, they can't kill him, they can't get him out of office, so maybe they think they're going to start another virus thing like COVID, and that will take care of them. 22 hours, all right. So that, yeah, that's a long drive. That's like us driving down to southern Florida, mid Florida, which we've done. To Cocoa Beach is about 20 hours for us. So we split it up into 2 days because we're thinking about moving back to Cocoa Beach area, the Space Coast. We're leaning towards it in Foley, Alabama. There's our 2 areas. Now that Florida is going to get rid of real estate property tax. I have not thought about that. That's funny. Yes, you like that? So there you go. I mean, right. It just kind of makes you think. You're too young to know about Arsenio Hall, but Arsenio Hall used to be in not a game show host. What do you call that? A late night TV show host, and he always says, makes you think, right? They can't kill him. They can't get him out of office. They couldn't put him in prison. So maybe they think the only way to slow his reign down is to throw us into another virus panic. I was doing 640 per day, 5 days a week up until December 8th, 2020. So you're used to it. You know how to run them roads, you know? You know how to run them roads. Now, we drive a lot because we like to drive. I do. I like to drive. Now, granted, Lorelei's seats aren't the greatest in that Subaru. That's why I like to buy us a nicer luxury SUV, but she really likes that Subaru. So, you know, we have been seeing some of these airlines are selling airline tickets like from Dallas to Florida pretty cheap, and you can fly over to Las Vegas pretty cheap, and places I don't know about coming out of your part of the world to other places, but you know, but we think about what we might better off to do is fly, rent a car, which costs more money than driving. To be honest, it's cheaper to drive your own vehicle, but it takes a lot more time. When we were booking our cruise for October, we were debating. We were going to go out of Galveston, which is a 8 hour, 9 hour drive for us, maybe 10 with bad traffic. So let's say a 10 hour drive. I make it in one day, but it's hard on my back. It's hard on my body, right? Or with the other one that we got the best deal on, we got the best deal going out of Miami, but we'd have to buy airline tickets, which is $1,000 for the two of us, a little bit over $1,000. But I thought to Lorelai, I said, okay, our option is to go out of Galveston, pay more for the cruise, and have me ride in a car or drive a car for 10 hours and be miserable, or spend more money. So it's costing us more money for the Florida cruise, but I don't have to drive the 10 hours. So I'll spend the extra money just so I don't have to drive those 10 hours because I want to be able to enjoy the cruise. It's about a 9 hour drive for you. Okay, yeah, 9, 10 hours, depending. I think when we go to Alabama, we budget 10, you know. But I'm going to be going to Norwood for a day and visit family. Good, all right. That gas is so high, it's affecting planes. It is jet fuel, which is sad because it affects everything. It does. The gas being high trickles down. But here's what I'm going to say. I don't like the gas being this high. But when Lorelai and I came back from the Philippines 4 years ago, gas was this much. We were shocked. We get off the plane, rent the rental car, drive back, and I'm looking at gas pushing $4 a gallon. It was $7 and $7 a gallon in California. Arizona was like six something. I'm sitting there going, what in the hell happened in the time that we were gone? So I don't like it being the way it is, but it was this way 4 years ago, you know. But I do think, I don't know, has anybody heard any latest update on whether they're going to suspend the federal tax on fuel? I know they're talking about it, but I haven't read anything about when they're going to do that. Has anybody heard about when they're going to suspend the federal tax on gas? The Fed tax on gas. No, right now, there's no timeline. Trump has proposed it. But Congress has to approve it. Oh, maybe that's what they were making fun of because Trump is proposed getting rid of the tax for a while. And what he said was he didn't think it was going to pass because the Democrats are going to vote against it, even though it's good for everybody. So what he was going to suggest, I think he was making this joke, that he was going to propose to raise the tax or double and triple it, then they would come back and fight with them, and then maybe they would lower it that way. So it looks like there's no plan. I guess the Democrats have to vote for it. It's right at $4 right here in my state, 4.25 in New Hampshire. So yeah, I just looked it up. They don't have any timeline. Now look, I know there's a plan and there's a strategy. What I will say this, I'll say this. I think there's some gamemanship and bullshit going on with all of this stuff. I think the rich are getting richer, the poor is getting poorer, without question. I think there's some economic strategies at play. There's a lot of things that we don't have a clue about that the world leaders, and I mean the real world leaders, are dicking with about this. Somebody's going to come out making money out of this. Ah, it's only 348 down in Mississippi. That's nice. That is good. I'd take that. But I do believe either, and this is because I'm not in the know, because Donald hasn't called me and talked to me about this in quite a while. But I don't know what the we're going to take our time strategy is. I don't know what that is. I personally would end this, and I mean by blowing the living shit out of the country. I would decimate it. I hate the word decimate, which means you reduce by 10. People on the news use this all the damn time, and it drives me crazy. And I just used it. To decimate something is just to reduce it by 10. I mean to eliminate it. I would go in and destroy the whole entire country, the infrastructure, the oil industry, their port. That way they could never ever say nobody can use the Strait of Hormuz. This is what I would do. I would obliterate it without question, wipe it off the face of the earth and get it done. And then let the oil flow back through there, right? Get things moving again and don't worry about it. And gas will drop, drop, and drop. The other thing that bothers me is we have oil and gas in America. Why in the hell is ours so high? We don't. There's no reason for the shit that we're using in our cars to be high. We don't get our oil from them. Why is it so high? And I heard somebody try to explain that on the news the other day, and I went, oh, "Okay, kind of makes sense because apparently they do a rotation." So if I understand this right, and if anybody knows more than me, please chime in. But it sounds like what they do is say, okay, so we're going to do our oil here, but we're going to sell it to somebody else who may refine it, and then that's sold to somebody else, and then we buy ours from somebody else. It's just a rotation. That's why ours costs so much. It's kind of like what I found out years ago about Corps of Engineer lakes. So we have a lake here that's a dam generating lake called Beaver Lake. It generates electricity. Well, we don't use that energy. That energy that our dam generates is sold to Louisiana. Louisiana is selling theirs to somebody else. Somebody else is selling theirs to somebody else. And it just keeps going up and up and up. And then when we buy ours from wherever the hell we buy ours from, it's overinflated. That's what this is all about. And I think oil and gas is the same thing. But electricity right here in my world is that. What we generate here in Arkansas goes to Louisiana. We sell it down there. And they sell it to somebody else, and somebody else sells it. And Ozzy Light says, yes, sir. But I don't know, but I'm not a smart man, so I really don't know what's going on, but I don't know. That's what I would do. I never understood why diesel is so much more than regular fuel because it's less refined. I agree. It's not like it's a specialty thing. It's not like only 10% of vehicles in the world, but especially even in the United States where it's not as popular, the amount of diesel trucks and other vehicles that run on diesel, I don't know what the percentage would be, but I got to imagine it's not like a specialty fuel. It's not racing fuel, you know, right? They're not manufacturing something that is hard to do or has no supply for. So they got to dedicate resources to do a small batch which jacks up the price. That's not the case. I don't get it either. There's a lot of things going on globally that I think we're doing, which is very good for America. I think, kicking China out of the Panama Canal, very smart. Taking over Venezuela is very smart. And Cuba, very smart. One thing I will say, whether you like him or not, Donald Trump has a vision to protect the United States, kind of like the Monroe Doctrine, if you remember that through history. So they are trying to re-solidify the United States, its power and boundaries. Yep, my electric is coming from Texas, see? And he's in Mississippi. Never been able to figure out why I'm getting electric. That's why. Because Texas probably got it from somebody else. So they bought it from them. They're going to sell it to Mississippi for more and make a profit. The energy companies are reselling it to make a profit. Every time they resell it, they sell it for a higher price. It's a rigged market. And that's why it's so high to us. If they would just concentrate the energy in the region that it's manufactured in, it wouldn't cost as much. But the utility companies wouldn't be making as much money. Their profit margin wouldn't be there. And it's all done in credits. It's not like they literally take a ball of energy from my dam and they put it in a box and they drive it in a semi truck all the way down to Louisiana. They just sell what they call electrical credits. They're just selling credits to each other. So they're not physically moving the electricity. Now, it does travel through the power lines and all of that, so don't get me wrong. They do have those stations, transfer stations, that helps to get it to point A to point B. So it does travel and does move, but they're also just selling the damn credits. Like, hey, yeah, I want to buy 100 credits off of you, Texas, to go to Alabama. Okay, great. Don't send me the energy. We're just pretend that we did that. This is what it is. And oil and gas has to be the same way in the United States. There's no reason we should be paying this much at the pump. We just shouldn't. And I know in history they've been able to release, if we've had a shortage, which we don't have, that's a problem. The other problem is the United States doesn't have a shortage of gas, of oil. We don't have a shortage of oil. It's not like back in the 70s. So back in the 70s, they had to open up the oil reserves, right? Our national security reserves. We don't have a shortage. So why is it so damn high? Oh no, it's very crazy to me and dishonest. That's why we don't believe or trust anybody in the world, because there's no honesty, right? There's just not. Companies aren't honest with us. We don't even know what the ingredients are in our foods. We can't be sure where our utilities are coming from or what they are. We're told this and it's something else. We can't trust law enforcement. We can't trust the fire department. We can't trust anybody. Can't trust the government. Even when they're wrong, they won't admit they're wrong. We submit them all kinds of documents and they sit and argue with us and say, well, we can't be wrong. We're the government. Well, yeah, I just proved you were wrong. And all these other legal documents prove that you were wrong. Not wrong. All right, Henry, take care. Good to see you. So, it's after 9 already here, too. So, a little crazy, a little goofy, a little strange, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? The best thing you can do is just do what you got to do in life. Work it out and figure it out. That's what I say. So, was that enough of my lecture for today? Did I lecture too much? Sometimes I get on a roll. I get fired up. I get on a roll, man. I tell how I think it is. I'm probably 1000% wrong on everything. But, in my pea brain, I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm good. Not pretty good, just good. One level down. It's like I'm not the best serial killer in the world. I'm just one of them. So I'm fighting. I'm working on something on that too, by the way. I got so many projects up in the air. Um, what do you do? It's a question for everybody there. And I know there's a lot of you in the background. What do you do when you don't have the motivation to do a bunch of things that you could do and do them pretty easily? But, you know, Ozzy likes that. So, uh, what do you do? Got to get motivated once in a while. It's just hard to get motivated. You find other projects to start and not finish. Well, yes, I need to finish that, but you know what? This over here needs to be done, so let me get over there and do that. I guess I'm doing that this week. I got to take everything off of my back patio. I got to move it out in the yard. Trying to do that New England thing for Ozzy there. Got it out in the yard and got to move it out in the yard. And then I'm going to clean it all up. Patio furniture, barbecue grills, pizza oven. I got to get it power washed. But I got to power wash my patio concrete. I'm going to let it dry. Then I'm going to stain it and seal it and while the weather's hot and dry. And then I got to put all the stuff back, which I don't know how I'm going to do that because the stuff's kind of heavy. Getting it off the patio is easy. Getting it back on is going to be a bigger challenge. Uh, so that's the project I came up with to avoid doing a whole bunch of other things that I need to do. And that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, Thursday. I'm going to be out there since and the problem is Lorelai sleeps because late because she's working, right? And so I can't get out here and make all kinds of noise. Money is in my brain. Tate Sanders is in the house. Good to see you, my friend. How are the family? You driving home from your third or fifth job? Sanders works a lot. He's a hardworking, good father. Sanders, I don't know if you've heard the news. I don't know if you've heard the news. There's a song about here in the news. You're in the news today. Um, yeah, I'm kind of stuck between a house and a dog sitter. Nice. I'm also doing a little bit of carpentry. Yeah, you're in the other house you were talking about the other day. But I'd rather be traveling. Yes. Everybody's good. You made it home nice. See ya, Henry. Ozzy said hello to you, Sanders. Sanders, we're having what roughly we're calling the North American meetup. And we're going to do it in Branson, Springfield, Missouri. We got a little committee together of people that are going to want to attend, and we're going to put this together, assign a date to it. But it's a family event, so you can bring the wife and the kids. And it's a tourist town, resort town, has a lot of activities for kids, like an aquarium and all of these things. So we're going to have Patrick's coming. A lot of people are already saying they're going to try to attend to it. So I wanted to make sure you knew that you were invited. You and the family are welcome to join us later this year for what I'm calling the North American Meetup. And I know it's a long drive or flight for you, but Branson, Springfield, Missouri is the location right now. Patrick says hello to you, Sanders. Sanders is already home. You're walking the dog, so you're taking the dogs out for a walk. Sanders, we're looking at right now. I threw out a time thinking late September, early October, and how we would do this is simply we'll pick a date, like over a weekend or something, and we will there's a lot of things that people can do. So we'll just pick like a block of time where everybody comes together, all of them together, somewhere at a restaurant or schedule a restaurant or something, or we can all come together. But other than that, you can go to the parks and the museum. You can do whatever you want, and you can stay as long as you want. I mean, if you wanted to come up for a week, I don't care. I mean, it's not my business, right? So that's what we're looking at. And I picked that region mainly because there's like natural caves that are really friendly that you can drive golf carts through. You can take tours of caves. They got the largest aquarium now besides California, one of the best ones in the nation. They got the largest Bass Pro Shop, a whole entire nature area, education center, museums. Uh, Silver Dollar City is there. I forgot about that. Silver Dollar City. They got musical shows. Uh, they got a river walk, all kinds of crap. I mean, it's fully loaded with stuff for whatever your taste is. So that it's good look. I forgot about Silver Dollar City. I might have to take Lorelei to Silver Dollar City. It's kind of expensive, but I might have to take her in there this summer. I wonder if they're going to do a celebration for the 250th year anniversary. I wonder if they're going to do that. If they are, I'll definitely take Lorelei up for that. If they're Silver Dollar City's a nature theme park in the Ozarks of Arkansas, of Missouri. So has rides and fair, has all that stuff. So it's really cool. It also has a big cave in it too, that you ride a tram down and up, I think. I don't remember. It's been a while. I know you ride a tram through the cave. So that's what we're going to plan to do. Love to have you. I'll tell Claude you're welcome to come up. Everybody's welcome. You know, family, very family friendly. You know, all that good stuff. Jamie is trying to commit to bring her and her babies, and her husband and their babies to the event. You know, and get away from their town a little bit. So it does have an airport in Springfield. It also has an airport in Branson. So not international airports, of course, but also I would just, you know, you can just drive. It's probably a 14 or 15-hour drive for you. You know, it's probably what that is coming out of the Houston area. Because Houston's about 11 for us and it's about 2 for us. So that's what we're going to be doing, working on planning. And we'll get more information out as time goes. We'll put it out. We'll start developing it and maybe put together a little informational flyer about it as we develop it. So we're ways from that, but we're going to, some of us are going to get together who can make it for sure and put our heads together and to see if we can come up with some definitive answers to some of the questions. So, and even Dennis from Canada is going to fly in. He said he's going to bring a bunch of women from Colombia and show off Colombian women to the Americans from Canada. So, you know, so. All right, my friends, it's 9:30 p.m. here. I think it's time for me to wind this down. So what we're going to try to do, if you don't know, is on Wednesday nights, we're going to try to do therapy with PAC. That's me. It's going to be the title every week on Wednesday nights. Now, it may be 7 o'clock, sometimes it may be 8 o'clock. Now that the sun is up later and I'm doing things, we'll probably shift it to the 8 o'clock hour because, you know, it's dark a lot later. And that allows me more time to go goof off and do things. So just keep that in mind. Thank you all for the thumbs up. If anybody has any questions or problems, let me know. I'll see what I can do to help you. But we appreciate everybody coming in tonight. Sanders, take care. Patrick, take care. Ozzy, take care. Tim is at the gym. Henry bugged out. Dennis is there. Lawson, take care. He's down in my part of the country too. Let's see. We had Jamie in the house taking care of the babies. Patrick, take care, everybody. We appreciate you guys. I have a lot of people tonight. Michael, I'll call you later today or tomorrow, one of the two. So we'll see you guys later. And everybody say goodbye to one another. Appreciate that. Good to see. All right, everybody. Be safe, be good. See you soon.